Super Smash Brothers Melee!
Nope.
Well, Nintendo did it again, and they're pissing off a large fan base that they are inherently the creators of. It feels like this happens every once in a while, whether it be Super Smash Brothers, whether it be Paper Mario, whether it be Metroid fans. It seems pretty common that Nintendo is pretty good at pissing off some kind of fan base that they created. So I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably know about hashtag free melee. If you haven't, I'm very surprised by that, considering that almost every tweet that Nintendo puts out now is just bombarded with melee and hashtag free melee. And I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure free melee was trending for a good while too. It might still be by the time of this recording. But yeah, hashtag free melee has basically taken over my feed, and I felt that it only makes sense to talk about it. So let's talk about it for a bit. Now, there's a good chance you haven't heard of it. And if you haven't heard of it, I'll give you the rundown. Hashtag free melee basically stems from this big tournament, the Big House, hosting an online tournament for Melee. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what's been going on with Melee for a good while now, you might be wondering, how in the hell are they playing Melee online? So there is this mod, Slippi. Slippi essentially just adds rollback netcode to Super Smash Bros. Melee, so that way people who enjoy Melee can play Melee online. What's amazing about it is that because it's rollback netcode, it's already better than what Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has for its netcode. Now, mind you, from a personal perspective, I don't really care about Melee. I don't play Melee. I used to play Melee consistently when Melee was the current Smash game, basically. But I've always been the type of person who just, as the old game once it becomes the old game, when there's a new game coming out, I always kind of just move on into the next game, get good at that game, and then I keep it going, right? So right now, I'm more of a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I guess you could say Rivals of Aether player, more so than I am a Melee player. Like, I don't really play Melee. I haven't played it consistently in years. And that's pretty much my background when it comes to Melee. And I feel like there's a lot of people who feel like only the people who play Melee would care about this. But I don't really think that's the case. The main reason being is that you're having YouTubers talk about this who don't even play Melee like that. Maybe they remember playing Melee at some point. I'm somebody in particular who doesn't really give a shit about playing Melee in the current day, but I support hashtag free Melee. I don't think this decision makes any sense from Nintendo. The business decision to do what they did doesn't make any sense, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, Nintendo decided, right, that because the Big House is using Slippi, this rollback netcode modification to the game, that they needed to send out a cease and desist to stop them from having this online tournament. Now, there's people who go back and forth as to whether or not that makes sense, whether or not it's good or bad, or whatever the case is. I think it's very obvious it's bad. Regardless if you think Nintendo's in the right or not, I think it is bad, because this essentially makes it so that the only way you can play Melee is if you're playing it offline, which, yes, that was the way the game was originally designed, but in the time that we are in now, the pandemic going on, and how serious the people are trying to take it, that how serious everyone's basically trying to take it, they don't really want to play offline for Melee or run tournaments for Melee if the risk is a pandemic, right? Like, if that's basically the risk, right? No, we're not really trying to hold public events with a bunch of people there with a pandemic that's going on, right? So Melee modified to run some kind of online code is the way to go, right? So it makes perfect sense why this modification exists. This is like the exact time frame something like this would happen. Like, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And again, I don't even play Melee. Like there's a reason why in the background of this video you're seeing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate gameplay instead of Super Smash Bros. Melee gameplay. Like I really don't play it. Despite that, I don't see any reason for doing this. Like I don't see a reason for the cease and desist letter at all. But maybe I'm coming from a perspective as a Smash fan and not just, you know, a fan of Ultimate. Like I like every Smash game to a certain degree, so it's like maybe I'm biased, right? Like maybe I'm biased, and the reason why I don't see any reason to do so is because I play Smash in general, and so I want to support my fellow Smash players, even if it's a different Smash game than what I play. But yeah, I have trouble understanding it myself. I mean, if you have some kind of counter argument, I guess make that comment in the comments down below and explain to me how you feel about this whole thing, about hashtag free Melee and all that. Lately, I haven't even really been playing Smash in general. A lot of the clips you're seeing are from before Age of Calamity came out, because that's what I've been playing. But you know, it was bothering me. Like I felt like I had to talk about it in some fashion, because Nintendo, it feels like they make some of my favorite games, right? But I think it's important to not give these companies a pass when they do stupid shit, right? I feel like it's very common. Like certain companies just get away with a lot of dumb shit, right? Because the people who play their games like their games so much that they kind of just excuse certain business practices. And I think like companies like Nintendo, companies like PlayStation, companies like I don't know, like there might be others like CD Projekt Red or maybe Rockstar, some companies in general, but those are the two that came to my mind at this particular time. Because they make games that people enjoy, they tend to get away with some very shady business practices down the line. And if you don't want these companies to do these things and continue this behavior, you kind of have to be willing to tell them no when they decide to do those things, right? And I mean, I don't know how this business stuff works, but regardless if it's like an entire company decision or if it's just specifically the legal team of Nintendo who's getting really, I don't know, combative for some reason, regardless of what the case is, people should be able to speak their mind on some bullshit. And personally, their decision to cease and desist the Big House is some bullshit. That's just how I look at it. But let me know in the comments down below if you agree that this is some bullshit, or if you think Nintendo's in the right, and if so, why? What? Like, let us know, because I feel like there's a lot of support for hashtag free Melee, and I'm on there too. So yeah, just let me know, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Shifty, yeah, shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and get me. It'd be dope if you subscribe, could you like the vid, please? Take your time, you don't gotta do it swiftly. Shifty, shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and get me.